Hey, welcome back to Kult of Athena's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Tom. Today we're looking at the Langeid Windlass sword. This one is an integrated sword belt and a really sweet scabbard. Take a look at some specs and up-close looks. All right, check it out. So this one has some cool features to it. This is a reproduction from a sword that was found in Norway with a lot of very adorned pommel, guard, and then also a scabbard that you're gonna get a lot more up-close looks of that comes with an integrated belt. So you can wear this if you want for reenactments and stuff like that. So it's 1080 high carbon steel. Functions of this one is that the cuts are gonna be easier to bring around for a sword of this size because of the swept up guard, and also because the pommel offers a little bit more room on the wrist. So if this was just kind of straight across for something this heavy too, it would definitely be a problem, because it would just be a lot of stress on the wrist. That's not the case with this one. So whether you're holding this upright and you're going into larger cuts, or if you are holding this in the thrust positions, that little bit longer of a guard does offer some hand protection, you know, for when this thing would be used. So 1080 high carbon steel. The pommel is wide and it's also more flat. See the peen marks on that. And then we get into the scabbard itself. This one has some really cool artwork on it. Something that I find really interesting, this is a wood line leather wrapped scabbard. We slide this in. We have a chap on both sides, or chape. That's gonna protect it if this is being worn in multiple elements from, you know, rain and stuff like that getting into scabbards. The other interesting thing is that this one doesn't have like a traditional like belt buckle. This one is wrapped leather, and this is wood right here, and this is wrapped through. So when you carry this, you can actually tie this, and then there's two notches right here that you can slide it through and like tie it off. So it's like the old school way of wearing it. Old school is kind of a redundant statement when we're talking about Viking swords, right? But it's not, it doesn't have a buckle on it, is really what I'm trying to say. The draw on it is solid, you know, really good draw. Sliding it back in, the rain guard, the chape does not get stuck. So we have a good draw on that. And this would be a really good one for reenactments. Those of you who are really into Viking culture, want something a little bit more adorned from Windlass, something that is gonna last in your collection. This is easy to clean. It's got a good carbon steel. And if you really want to do cut testing with it, I think this thing would do well on tatami mats and also water bottles. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one in the scabbard and out of the scabbard up close. Overall length, 38¼ inches, 31¾ inches of blade length. 2 pounds, 12 ounces. The edge is definitely sharp. 52.6 millimeters is the width. It's a peen pommel. Point of balance is 4 5/8 inches from the guard. Grip length, 3½ inches. 1080 high carbon steel. The culture is Viking, and this one is manufactured by Windlass. All right, when we're talking about movement with this one, we're gonna have a lot of large cuts available, even for something of this size. We can start to hammer down on the vertical cuts as well. We're punching down, circling that around. Direct thrusts are all there if you're gonna train with this one. Moving that right into the slash. If you have the shield in hand, you've got that low forehand thrust. You've got that high forehand thrust, even out to the side to thrust that around. And you're gonna have that powerful backhand cut, which is mostly associated with sword and shield. Transitioning through guard positions, the handle is comfortable. The wire wrap is comfortable enough so you don't have to worry about it really ripping up your hand. If you wore a leather glove with it for whatever reason, if that's something that you're doing in a reenactment, I don't think you'd have a problem with it at all, because it's really comfortable. Having the upswept guard and downswept pommel just works ergonomically with the hand. That way, if you're doing cut, or if you're going into thrust, or you're just holding this for a photo shoot even, either way, this has got you covered. Okay, here's the scabbard. So I have the extra length here. I'm purposely leaving this out so you can see it. There's 2 loops right here that we showed before in the up close looks. That's what you can tie this through. And this one's sitting, I have it a little bit high right now, higher than I would want it, but I would loosen this a little bit to where it would drop a little bit more toward the top of my thigh, so the draw is a little bit easier. Because I have this more vertical, this is what it looks like. If I turn this, I have the draw, no problem getting the draw out. Because I have this more vertical right now in this position, I'm going to turn the scabbard, get my tip of my sword in, drop it back in. This is just higher for the camera so you can see it. Also, if it's a little bit lower and slightly diagonal, which you can just rig it real quick with what you have with the belt, you don't have to worry about touching the ground. If you're kneeling, of course, you would just put your hand on your sword anyway to make sure the tip doesn't go on the ground. But this is what it looks like with the integrated scabbard and the belt. Hey, thanks for joining me for this review of the Windlass Langeid Viking sword. This one's available at cultofathena.com. Click the link in the description below this video to add this one to your collection. I'm your host, Tom, for Kult of Athena's YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next review.